What's happening? My name is Blake Harris, and this is the Music City Mindset. Music City Mindset is under the NFM network, and we are very grateful for that, for the opportunities that come to us. Go check out everything Nashville Fit. You can find us there on all platforms. This is going to be a fire show today. I am not here alone. Thank goodness. Y'all wouldn't want to listen to that. Here with me today, owner of Board and Brush in Hendersonville, and someone that was featured on Love Abroad on TLC, my best friend for 30 years, Evan Butler.
Oh, yeah.
What up, Easy?
What's up? I didn't find love on that show, by the way. So.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does.
Nah.
So, one of the things that I'm sure you've noticed as Nashville's grown over the years is the events that are happening. There are major, big, sold-out events happening on a Tuesday when we all got to go to work. When it wasn't always that way. When we were growing up, we'd go to Starwood on the weekends, pregame, all of that. Now, it just seems like you have to constantly be looking at your phone, at your algorithm, to see what's going on. Bone Thugs 3-6 not happening now, and kind of mad about that because they're doing it in Arkansas, so I'm going to miss out on that. But it's like there's so much going on now. It's hard to even keep up between the restaurant openings, the bar openings, the concerts, the events. And it kind of feels like I'm always either texting you about, I'm so excited about this, or, damn, we missed that.
Right.
And that FOMO is real.
It's big time because so many times now we have to choose. And you want to go to both events, both concerts, whatever it is, and you're like, damn, which one? And then a lot of times, you choose one, you have a great time, and then a lot of times you hear like, man, that event, so-and-so showed up, and then so-and-so showed up. And like, that's the other thing about Nashville. Everybody lives here now, so you never know who's going to guest appear, who's going to come out surprise,
Yeah.
And everybody's bringing it, it seems like, for Nashville.
Yeah, especially like when Bonnaroo got canceled. Next thing you know, the next day, my whole feed was nothing but like Jesse Murphy at Barstool or something. And it was like that whole next day, I was just like, for real FOMO. Like it was just everywhere. It was like I just feel like I'm missing out on so much.
Yeah.
But it feels like I'm doing a lot. I'm going to a lot of places, but it's impossible to like catch everything. But luckily, our guest here knows a little bit something about FOMO, like that ring. Originally from Knoxville, Tennessee, an MTSU Blue Raider. He's known for a cultural impact with his involvement of Folds of Honor, Feeding America and the Habitat for Humanity. He's been a professional model. Good-looking dude. He's a staple with not only the entertainment industry with DJing and the promotions and the events, but the local fitness industry with the brand ambassadors, the partnerships. CEO and founder of FOMO Entertainment. Welcome to the show, Cisco Carter.
Yeah.
I need a button. I want one of those buttons. Yeah. Where do I get those?
I got you.
Can I order one of those?
Thank you.
Welcome, dude. This has been a long time coming, man.
I've been supporting, watching.
Yeah.
I'm thankful to be in this seat.
I'm glad you're here. So let's go just back from the beginning. You grew up around Knoxville. Mm-hmm. What kind of neighborhood did you grow up in? What was your life like as a kid?
Man, I was so blessed to have a big family. Like, I didn't understand what it looked like because we just focused on ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we had the neighborhood in our home at all times. And I look back and I was like, man, we were kind of poor. And I didn't even know it because we had so much fun. We didn't miss out on anything. My family tailored our lifestyle around other families who had similar interests and a love for us as well. And so growing up, I mean, I was a fun little kid. I was smiley. I didn't really understand trials and tribulations until I got older and into high school. But yeah, my family, I still have my mom, I still have my dad. They've been divorced since I was 4, but I'm very thankful that now I have a stepdad and a stepmom that love me the same way my parents do. I don't feel like I got neglected by any means, being one of 6, right? So we all know that we have to be each other's biggest supporters, and now my family's my best friends right now. It's actually kind of crazy, full circle.
I'm in the same boat with my
Yeah.
mom right now. So would you say that if you look back on it, that your family actually was experiencing trials and tribulations, but it was just protected from you, that you weren't aware of that going on, or did y'all just not really like go through that?
Yeah, it boiled down to what are our priorities, and the kids were the priorities for my mom and dad. They would take jobs anywhere around the country to make sure that we had food. They provided. We went, we had times where like drugs and alcohol were involved for one of my family members, and custody switched, and our life never stopped. It was like separate, figure it out, and then come back to it. We never like love is what it is, right? Like it boils down to we never lost love. But yeah, it was tough getting home from school a couple times, and then we played so many sports that we were so responsible. I remember at 8 years old, I had to call my friends' parents every single day, basically, to be like, hey, can you pick me up for tomorrow? I had to be ready on time. But they had to adapt their schedule too. Like I didn't necessarily live in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, sports, I basically built what it looked like. We couldn't play sports without good grades. And now it's funny because we say finish all your work before you get to like go out, and the work structure has been ingrained in all of us for so long. But yeah, there was a lot of messed up stuff going on, and they were trying their best, my parents were. And as a student athlete, I would say my whole life, now I look back and I'm thankful they tried their best. The best isn't the best when you don't have funds coming in. And so you gotta, I say now, I'm like, I don't want a big family. Like every kid creates, a stress on income.
Where did you fall in the six?
Second youngest. And so my oldest, she passed away in 2012, but she was 13 years older than me. And then the four and middle children were very close in age, like a couple of years between all of us. And then I have a younger one who's 12 years younger than me, and she's super cool, super artsy. So yeah, we're all a little different.
Yeah,
but
see, I didn't know your family was that big. I just know you and your brother.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah, how's he doing?
He's great. He, man, I'm so proud of my brother. I look up to him. I have all my life, and now he understands that it's literally like us against the world.
Yeah.
We have a lot of similar hobbies. I have to call him and ask golf advice every single other week.
When I met y'all, I thought they're twins. Like,
yeah.
Y'all were just joined at the hip. Like
we talk alike. We have the same interests. I send him soccer videos because that's what we played growing up. He sends me a couple football things. I'm like, yeah, I still can't do that. But my brother was always a better athlete. His field vision on anything, and I mean like video games, I would play a game for 2 months and I'd teach him the buttons and then lose the first time. And I'm like, oh, beginner's luck. I never would beat him again. Yeah, shout out Rico.
What all sports did you play? What was your favorite as a kid?
Yeah, I grew up playing soccer, football, and I ran track. My favorite as a kid until this day, soccer is my favorite sport. It's less desirable in America than any other, like look at other nations, right?
Do you think that's just because of the running?
I think it's because we are a football-dominated international league. Mm-hmm. NBA is a close second, and then it falls into, hockey is bigger in America. Soccer has had one of the fastest growing sports in America right now. I think it's awesome. We have some of the best players in the world that came over to create that environment. Like we're looking at like legitimately the best argument of the GOAT's change, but one of the best players ever that we'll see in our lifetime is playing in Miami on an MLS team. And what he did, David Beckham, he was one of them, Ibrahimovic. There's a lot of players who came over here and like they got personality. That's the best part. It's like every single one of these are vocal. they're not in relationship cheating. Like, these are like, soccer is very different sport than what you hear about in other sports. There's not as much scandals going on. They're about their money and they're about the field,
and that's it.
and that's it.
And like some of the clips online of some of the soccer games over there.
Football.
Football. I mean, like, there's things in the stands on fire.
Mhm.
I mean, it is more electric than anything we have as far as sports entertainment here in the States.
Oh yeah.
But then, like, I mean, when you watch a soccer game, sometimes it gets deemed as like boring. I mean, I feel like Nashville SC does a pretty good job. The games are entertaining, even if you're not like a mega fan.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first game in that stadium I went, and I just started crying walking in. It was very emotional because the city has given me so much, and I've been a huge supporter of a sport. But just knowing that, like, my city or my state has a professional soccer team, it's been my dream. It was actually my first professional game going to as well. And, to get this far. And, I mean, I had opportunities. Like, we won state a few times. I was on a regional team.
Where'd you play?
For high school. I went and played at Webb. And then when I transferred to Bearden is when I stopped playing soccer and focused full-time on football, which gave me a college degree. And, I mean, I'm very fortunate. My size, potential. I felt like I started meeting it and met a lot of good people. The biggest switch for me from soccer to football was my soccer coach knowing that I was going to take football farther, and not because of my athletic ability by any means, but mental space. And that was really tough, but someone had to be that parent and make me make that decision. The best part about it was my family got to go to every football game, and they didn't go to every soccer game. It's down the street, and no football team is playing 15 minutes or more.
So you went to Knox Webb?
Yeah, I went to Webb and then Bearden. And so when Bearden, that's when my I played multiple sports on the field. Sorry, same sport, multiple positions, and that's the big change. I was starting as a freshman, kicking and punting, and then soccer translation.
You usually hear the opposite. You hear of a coach trying to hold a player.
Yeah.
Like, don't lose you to football or this season. Like, stick with me. And then, but you had somebody that went, hey, I'm not using your full potential. I think you can do better over here. That's pretty wild.
It is wild. I'm very close to that same, his name's Coach Hines. Very close to him this day. I called him last week, actually. I had some free time, and I just talked to him for an hour, navigating life. Not just business, not family, just truly life from spiritual on. I got to have someone to look up to, and he's done it right. He's provided for his family. He's given them opportunities. He tells me the story of his grandfather, and he took over the company business, and now his kids all work for him. And trust me, working for him is not like you think it is. They're working harder than him.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. They got to earn it.
Okay.
I was a coach's kid, so I get that. Like, when practice ended, everybody get to go home. You had to hear it the whole way home.
Yeah. Yeah. And people, they think everything's given to them. They all want to be victims and say someone has something else that put them in a pedestal. But this man offered anyone help. He still does. He definitely a leader. Everyone at Tennessee, now we got NILs. He has provided a way for walk-ons to make money by doing little ads. They don't have to spend a lot of time, but he's basically put them on scholarship.
Man, that's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, you got to find those people who you want to learn from. And what I've learned in my last 4 years of really trying to be an entrepreneur, but also business mindset and a good person as first, is people want consistency.
Yeah.
I remember like the first year of sobriety, people were waiting for me to mess up. And I was like, I didn't really think I had a problem. I just had a problem with not hitting my potential every single morning, every single day. No matter what, you sign up to wake up early, you better be up early. I want to wake up early knowing I made the decision the night before to go home to be ready for the morning. So yeah, it's little decisions, but you make choices, right? So
Well, it kind of goes hand in hand with what you said about your coach. Like when I first was looking for a sponsor, and they said find somebody that has what you want. I thought, well, like, man, does he have an Escalade? Does he have a beautiful wife? You know, and then I started realizing, like, oh, that's not what I want. I want to be 20 years sober. I want to, you know what I mean? And so, like, then I started realizing, like, it don't matter what he drives, what he has, you know. And so it's kind of like how you were talking about your coach. It's like he's done this, this, and this. Like, it's safe for me to go. He can mentor me. I can look up. I can trust him.
Yeah, it is. That's a great word, trust, right? And you know, everyone. I don't care if you're 1 week sober or 20 years. You have to win that day. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about as real as it gets when it comes down that road. Now, your coach, you were talking about, like, could see the potential that you could take football further just because of the resources of what it is here, especially in the South, but in the States and all of that. Was he the only one seeing the potential? What like, were you being recruited heavily? Like, what was that process like?
I definitely had looks. I was in a newspaper article every single week. I'd still have a bad game, and I'd still have a cover. it was wild, yeah, because people wanted to know. Like, it was investing in the story, and my family would be like, "How are you? Did you enjoy yourself?" They didn't care about the stats. Everyone else cared about the stats, but there was my coach said, you just have to be your best version of this day. And he sent me to the UT football camp, and I had one of the best practice days. I knew, like, drills weren't hard, but catching the ball, having people in your face, covering them consistently, and I did it for one day. I did not have any mess ups. There was a time I caught the ball in front of Coach Ogeron, and I didn't even know I caught the ball. And he was so hyped. He was pushing me, headbutted my head, like all this. And I bought brand new gloves, and they were so sticky that you could have hit me with anything, and they were going to stick to these gloves. But
Ogeron's a legend, dude.
Yeah, and that was when I realized, when you show up, like, you have to perform for only a couple hours, and that's what you need to focus on. Don't worry about the whole season. It changed how I played games. Like, I was like, I just got to be the best version of myself for this play. And that was the Tom Brady mindset that we got to learn, years after. But yeah, just go out and have fun. Don't worry about anything that happened, because you can't change the past, but you can have fun. Make sure you're doing the right calls, be in the right positions, and go through the motions the best way you can.
So you're getting looks. Why MTSU?
So it started with Tennessee. Lane Kiffin, his team left Tennessee that year, and I had Derek Dooley, and he set us down, and he was like, we could use your scholarship and get more people in your in-state. And I was, at that time, I'm young, but my mom wasn't. I went to Tennessee. I had an opportunity to go to Cincinnati. That was my second. Man, I would have played with, like, Travis Kelce and company and all them, but realistically, my family was most important, and my sister was going through medical stuff, and I made a vow that I would try to stay within 4 hours so my family could get to me and I could get home no matter what happened. And so I chose MTSU. The biggest change and choice for MTSU was actually their coach saying, I'll be there for you to watch you grow into a man for 4 years. And that's my promise. And he shook my mom's hand. I was like, I guess I'm going to MTSU. I knew a couple guys going there. They weren't playing sports. They could have, they should have, but having a couple friends that I trusted as well. And man, when I got to campus, it was not high school anymore. No one gave a fuck who I am.
Yep. So what was that like? What did that do to your mindset? This is the Music City mindset. So like, what did that have to pull out of you, and like a shift in your mindset to go from essentially, even though there's some real good football, high school football up in, that East Tennessee area, Alcoa, Dobbins Bennett, just name a couple, but like to go from that big fish in that small pond to now all of a sudden like everybody's bigger, everyone's faster, and no one really cares. No one's putting you on the cover. What was that like for you?
Luckily, I'm a pretty big dude with some pretty good wills. But when you get there, these are the best players. And I do want to explain this because it is different, right? Like when people are like, oh, I was the best on my team, I'm the best. These guys, some of them transferred from LSU. Some of them were at Tennessee. Some of them were all over. Some of them didn't have the grades to go to bigger schools. Some of them, might have gotten in trouble and then went. I had people from JUCO who have 2 championships on my team. They're all really phenomenal, and they've had college coaching, and that was a huge difference. I've never been cussed at a day in my life on any sport. And the first day, I can't even tell you the amount of cuss words I heard and saw and got called, and I was one of the favorites.
Yeah. Now, what years were you there?
I was there in 2010 through 14.
Were you there with Jarrell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all were on the same team?
Yeah.
He's talked about that team a lot.
Yeah. Y'all
had some dogs.
Yeah, it was a special group. And till this day, I mean, I'm still good friends with a lot of them. I watched some of them go in the NFL. We've all come back for homecomings. I didn't realize, and when I say like, I'll tell people because I dual enrollment, so I did go to UT technically, and I have a ball card and, half the football stuff. But I tell people, I'm like, yeah, I graduated from MTSU. I'm very proud of it. I'm very thankful that they believed in me, kept every word. I didn't even play really my last year. I was on the team technically, but like they supported every single thing. They want to make sure my injuries got healed correctly, which is funny because now I'm healing from all the surgeries later,
Yeah.
They just want you back on the field. But they did create a man. We got talks every single week to change how we looked at women, how we looked at getting in trouble off the field, how it affects the team on the field. We got contacts to some of the greatest people to walk this earth because our coach every week brought in special people to understand what it looks like to be a real man outside in the real world, not just on the field. You're only on the field so much, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? How do you get to class? Are you making right decisions? Should you even move off campus? You have a car. You know what I mean? Like little things to navigate what it looks like and sacrifice ego on and off the field for winning.
That's crazy. You said something, and I've never, until right this moment, I don't know that I've ever thought of it like that. Because, I mean, even myself, it's very easy for people that do something on a field to wrap up your entire identity as what you do on the field. But if you look at like stopwatch time, you're off the field more than you're on the field.
Yeah.
And we put so much pressure on that being like part of our identity and who we are when that's not even like where we spend the majority of our time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll even take it farther for school.
Yeah.
You're there. Everyone's there to get an education. But if you look at the statistics from when you start grade school, I mean, elementary through high school, you think you're there, from 7, 8 to 2 to 4, depending on what your class schedules are. You're only spending like 18 to 23% of your life in a classroom. So what do you do on your free time? How are you continuing to grow? That's what homework, assignments, can you have the discipline to finish this? Can you put this first? Extracurricular, it's extra, right? Like it's on top of it, but it's not always mandatory. So you have to navigate all of those aspects as well, because the classroom is controlled setting. The chaos doesn't necessarily happen all the time in the controlled setting. That's why you don't have a lot of fights when you're like thinking about, film rooms.
Yeah.
But then they're fighting for position. So you have fights during practice. You have fights on the field because they want to win that. But if you think about it, you've had way more fights with friends, family, loved ones off the field, and then you got to learn how to navigate it, and discussions is what I prefer to call them.
Yeah, because it really now makes sense of like the struggle of like, people say like keep the main thing the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when your main thing is really only 20% of your schedule,
Mm-hmm.
you're really trying to take something that's like 20% and make it your 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an 80% distraction.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's well
I've
put.
never really thought of it like that.
I'm just sitting here thinking, I wish I'd have had somebody do that for me. You know,
Yeah.
like you talking about how they had talks with you about how you look at women and this and that. Like, it was almost the reverse of that, of like, you know, I wish I'd have had more guidance in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you can fall on your peers too, right? So like who I'm surrounded by at this moment, it's like not okay. A lot of things that I justified how I looked at women or treated them when I got into that snowball effect of like, oh, my friends are all hooking up with girls, all this, like it becomes a priority, right? Like, oh, there's girls there. Oh, we got to go. Now I know my why is a lot better. And like you kind of stated on like what you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I know why I go to places. Like I know what I want out of it. If someone invites me to a birthday party, it is not like it used to be. You know, we go a birthday party and then we go out, and I might not see the dude out more than 10 minutes when we walk in, and then next thing you know, the whole party's going after different girls, the guy groups are, and vice versa. But now it's like, man, I'm here for you. Like I came to celebrate you. You invited me here. I'll be at home if you weren't here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different. But I had to grow and understand it. It didn't always click at the time. I don't want to act like I caught everything, but I've had some time to reflect and have a little more gratitude.
Yeah, changing the purpose.
Yeah.
Your intention of why you're doing something. That's interesting. So you played at MTSU, but you ended up here at Nashville, and as far as ever since I've known you, pretty much a staple, like the epitome of Music City lifestyle.
Yeah.
Especially with
Thank
the
you.
groups that like I knew you around, DJ and Adam, you know, everybody that's kind of in that like Venn diagram of like parties and entertainment and fitness. There's not that many of us that really rooted in both of those. How did you end up coming up to Nashville and not going back home? And like, what was it that drew you to stay here? Because earlier you caught yourself, you changed it and said my state, but you said my city, talking about Nashville, but you're not from here.
Yes.
So how did you end up here in Nashville, and that growth and evolution of you being able to say that this is your city?
Knoxville was a great place to, I mean, we have lakes, we have Tennessee football, and we have really good people. The pace of life is a little slower than here. And when I graduated, I had to make some hard decisions. It's like, where am I going to live? And I just looked at like what was cheaper to get a U-Haul, if I could find a place to rent. I knew I wasn't going back and living with my family. That's a safety blanket that I don't actually have. I don't want it. I don't need it. I have them in case of emergency, but that's plan Z. Like it doesn't need to be my A, B, C, or D. I need to really like surrender and be at a point where it's straight up desperate. And that's just for me. Like everyone's situations are different, so I don't want to say it's the industry standard by any means. But I had an opportunity with rent for $313 in a house with 4 other guys, and they were all had real jobs, and it inspired me because they're like, you know, we could live in a bigger place, we could get better, but we're not here that much. We're working, we're trying to figure it out life, and I trusted all those guys to steer me in the right direction. We had a lot of cool conversations. They all helped me find a job. I actually got a job at Verizon Wireless coming out, but you know, I was like, this is easy. You know, people come to Verizon for 2 things: to either get a new phone or fix the phone they have.
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to Walmart where I have to help them find 10,000 different items. It's like, what do you want, an Android or iPhone? All right, Android.
I'll take that Android.
Yeah, then we're going to look at LG, Samsung. Like, I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't too crazy if you knew their needs. And everyone I worked with at that time, it was funny because if it was something to fix, they didn't want to fix it because they wanted more sales. And I'll just keep fixing people's stuff. I was like, I need to work. I need to figure this out. But those same people would upgrade and come back to me and always ask and call. And it was great. But yeah, I just thought Nashville was cheaper at the time.
What were your dreams?
When I graduated, I knew I wanted to be a teacher when I was in college until I sat in for a parent teacher conference, and I was like, this is not how this is ever going to go. I cried. And it wasn't happy tears. I felt really bad for the teacher. I watched days how much effort she put in, how late she stayed just for these kids to come in with preparation and a right mindset from her. And, parents didn't see it that way. And I was like, I'm out. I switched. I did advertisement, and journalism is what I walked away with. I knew that I wanted to do something, anything to make money. And the first couple jobs, I mean, I was scratching to get $35,000 by the end of it. And I had a supervisor do something that most supervisors don't do. And I don't know if this is a trend in my life, but people just saw more in me. And he pulled me in his office and he was like, you got 3 months to find a new job. I was like, I'm top in our sales, top in our analytics. And he was like, it's just, you have so much personality and bigger than this. And I took 3 months. I learned how to become financial stable. I actually did so much that I became a financial advisor. And then that's when I had a little more freedom in my schedule, and I started connecting it with everyone. And I was like, I love music, always have. I remember since, freshman year, I was always updating everyone's iPods. I was staying up late, downloading all the new songs. I could tell you what songs were about to come on during DJ sets. I was going from house music to electronic, deep bass, to hip hop shows. If there was a show, I wanted to go, and then DJs started popping up more and more, and I was like, man, I want to be at this bar, this bar, this bar. By the end of it, they're supplying me such a good time. I'd be like, man, I'm going to get them a drink. And I just start seeing familiar faces. I'd be like, where are you playing next weekend? I kept going. But MTSU wasn't too far, so I was already going out and showing up on Monday nights to Whiskey Jam, supporting Ward. He's a fellow guy from, he's not from Knoxville, I don't think, but I do know that he went to the University of Tennessee.
Gotcha.
And so I met him, wanted to support him. So I was going on Mondays, getting more ingrained in people in the industry. And then it followed by, helping promote, doing a couple of New Year's with some of the locals, and the DJs would be playing it. So we'd be like, we can probably shave a cut. There was Grant 3, which is a party promotion company that I was in when we were in college. And we always just wanted to invite all the girls, and guys would follow. And we had the athletes, right? And then I was in a fraternity, so I had the fraternity guys come. And we just kept networking, and we wrote down every list of people and names and started trying to be in front of them more. And it translated to now my job, which is in year 5. I've owned a company. I've worked for music festivals. I've worked for concert series, venues, you name it. And most of them are partners now. And I work for myself, and I have a few employees, and they do a better job than I do, which is a blessing that they care. It's been really fun.
That's really dope. Before we take a quick break, I noticed that when you were talking about that, even your demeanor, the volume of your voice, we talked about football, the passions, of sports and everything that comes with that, especially down here in the South. But when you mentioned music, you lit up and started talking a little bit different.
It's funny how that works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is one of your earliest memories of what you loving music, and what was some of your real early inspirations of what you listened to back then?
Man, Outkast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Outkast. If people don't know, I highly encourage them to understand that Outkast was not just a musical duo, but they shaped what art and fashion was. they were able to collaborate with so many different artists. They gained the respects from lyrics, telling stories, and showcasing them music videos, expression, right? And the rap culture, it's always been a very high expression market. And when I was little, man, you couldn't tell me anything other than the real Slim Shady, because, right, like
Yep.
he pioneered blonde hair. Everyone came out with, I wanted it. Cisco, which obviously my name's very similar. I dressed like him for Halloween in 3rd grade, put a sun around my belly button. I remember, yeah, oh my God, man. I remember trick-or-treating and someone was like, Cisco. And I was like, how do you know my name? And my mom's like, your costume. And you know what's crazy? I wore my mom's silver pants and yeah.
The dragon.
Yeah. But man, I have so many like good memories. Rock Band came out. Me and my friends would play that nonstop. We couldn't sing, so Guitar Hero was our favorite because we didn't have to. But there's so many memories tied, and I remember Buckaroo. That's a Rodney Atkins song when I was younger, and he was like 4-year-old said a 4-letter word, and I remember like getting my mouth washed out with soap because of that song. But the relationship that he had with his dad is what I had when I was really young, and during that time I wasn't really speaking to my dad, so that song meant a lot to me. And I got to see him actually this year at the CMAs perform it with his son. And I don't cry a lot, but probably I can say music has brought emotions out of me. And I just remembered like just standing there like thinking about like, this is the relationship that I now have. Music's very cool.
Yeah, and I don't know about you. The older I get, the more something will hit me like that, though, and I will cry.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, you couldn't get a tear out of me, and now it's like I watch a damn Affleck commercial, and now I'm crying.
No, but I think it's a lot more of maturity and understanding. And when you understand someone, you can sympathize with them. And a lot of people write these songs because they are real stories and they do have real reactions, and they're just getting it on paper. And luckily people have beautiful voices that can sing it. And I always say we get the prestige, like we get to see the final ending of what it is during it, but there's a lot of hard work and a lot of filters. Are we going to put this out? Are we not? Who's going to sing it? They got so much on the back end of music. When we get to hear it, we get the final production of it. I think it's amazing what people can put together. And I'm like, how did they come up with this? I write music and I record, I produce, but wow.
Yeah.
We're in Music City and it shows.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that kind of gets us into your background, into you getting to Nashville. So I think now's a good time to take a break. When we come back, we'll pick up from there. So let's take a quick little commercial break. We'll hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Cisco. Let's sing it again. And we are back here with the Music City Mindset. We are here with Cisco on the couch. At this point, we've covered pretty much everything about you learning how to navigate and network within this Music City. I think about the time I knew who you were, that networking had kind of like had some different circles. Mm-hmm. So having different circles, I've seen you at, I think you were teaching cycling. At one point, True Mav, all of that. Like you were a pillar, kind of influencer before influencers were running fitness, so to speak. But obviously, had your DJing, had the music, had the nightlife and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about how this city can help you either balance or not balance kind of two different worlds of like health, fitness. I worked at Hotbox with Adam, and we'd be, out on the weekend, and then he'd be teaching, yoga, on Sunday mornings, and so it's like can be a tough thing to balance, especially as we've grown into a party city. What's that been like for you?
Yeah, the party city, it's a beautiful culture, but it can only last for so long. And when you look at longevity of life, health and wellness is definitely one of the pillars for mine. As I grew up, I always played a sport. As I got done, I always lifted. I started challenging myself to say I love running. Next thing you know, I'm running a lot. I went to 8am's first kickboxing class I ever took was his.
Oh, wow.
And I remember because I went out Saturday night, went to Sunday. I was dying. I was making excuses just to get water. And I was like, this is not who I am. I need to be at my best at all times. And so I started shifting and got into fitness and doing a lot of 2-a-days here and there. I'm a big fan of yoga, great fan. I think that Pilates, once a week for anyone will be great for them. A lot of auxiliary muscles are getting introduced to your body, and you're not used to doing that when you're just lifting, right? And so I've done a powerlifting phase, and now I'm just functional fitness. Like if I can do anything, it's cool because I was training for High Rocks before all of my medical problems started, and it started when I was 17. But right now, I think that if I didn't even have that, I wouldn't be walking, a couple miles every single day. I'm very limited at this moment. But I had a knee injury in 2018, and I was like, the day I can start moving again, I'm not looking back. And I did that for 5 years nonstop. I was very thankful. I didn't take it for granted, and a lot of people do. And when you're in a brace for 11 months, watching people live out your dream, and I worked out during that time, but I was like, I got to get a good foundation. I got to get my legs back. When you wake up every day, if you enjoy what you do, the whole day is easier. So I wake up and I look forward to going to the gym. I'm very thankful that I have a welcome at True Mav Gym. That's my home gym. Every single time I'm there, someone familiar is there. They're always greeting me. It's a smile before I get in the door. Little things like that, getting a hug in the first hour of your day, come on now. It's great. And so, I look at fitness as a propel of who I am. It propels what I do. It propels how I move, and structure, strength, all of that is so important for people. So important. And if I'm looking forward to that more than going out these days. I have an opportunity that I get to work in a station that goes out, right? But I also have a choice that I get to work in a fitness environment. And I've met some of the best people. Anyone and everyone is going to a gym, but not anyone and everyone's going to church. Not anyone and everyone's going out. So this is a perfect blend of who I want to be around.
And that's really powerful. With what you were doing with fitness and the group aspect of familiar faces, literally being able to hug, and also going out, you don't want to go to an empty bar, empty club, right? How did you navigate through COVID?
COVID was a really tough one. I remember refunding 897 tickets because everything closed, and it was a Friday, and I just refunded everyone. I sent them emails of why they couldn't get $2.17 back, because that was the charge that for a ticket platform we couldn't refund. Then I went to eat, and the next day we really were on lockdown. I was like, oh wow, I never thought that bar taco would be the last place I ate out for a couple of months, a few months actually. But in that time, we were gifted, a group of us were gifted some weights. So we went every single day to the park, and we just lifted outside, had every single band you can imagine. We did so many ab videos, so many good workouts. One guy, he was a personal trainer. Another guy is an agent for a company, and he has a lot of NFL athletes, and you would think he was the NFL player. I was dating a girl who was into her fitness, and we went on walks, rode the Peloton, and worked out with the guys almost every single day. Yeah, I never stopped.
Wow.
COVID, it changed how we did everything, but no, it actually was probably the most shape I've ever been in.
I was talking about that earlier today. I saw people get in the best shape I've ever seen them in during COVID.
Yeah. I mean, I
You lived at
the
the
gym. Yeah. I mean, I basically,
Yeah.
well, literally, but we can tell that story later. But I lived at the gym at that point. And yeah, I think like body composition wise, it's probably the best during COVID that I think I ever have had.
Yeah, and we didn't know it would be so long, so we were making better food than ever because we had time.
Yeah.
We were getting fancy with it. We were eating more whole foods, and dwindling bank accounts left and right. So we had to slow down, but it was a good COVID for me, honestly. Outside of finances, I didn't have a real big problem with it. I actually got to work on my company and my business. Everything, we made systems, tailored it, did the extra work at the beginning because we could.
Yeah.
And, you never will get that time back. I pray we don't.
Like with a company like an entertainment company.
Yes.
What were you doing? Obviously on the fitness side, you're able to go to a park and make that up and stuff like that. But how are you getting creative for the entertainment side during that time?
Yeah, we started outsourcing more brunches, lunches, and drive-ins, and that was cool because people could go with their table once we started opening, and so we'd just help book DJs and live performances. It was definitely different. I will say the one thing was the online and digital aspect is what we really got deeper into, starting live streams for DJs. We got very good. One of the guys who taught me how to DJ during COVID. So that music, that time off, I mean, we definitely, I might have walked out of COVID better than anyone.
Wow.
I had nothing but time to work out and work on music and do live streams. You could either pay for a live stream or you could teach me how to DJ. And you know how many people don't want to pay? A lot. And they taught me, they offered me tons of music. I mean, we just had a lot of good times. I actually learned on what people would, because I owned all of this equipment. So what music festivals have, I just had in my living room because we canceled the show. And during COVID, we just had fun, learned how to DJ. I had to learn probably 5 months after knowing how to DJ, how to even download music because people gave me so many flash drives and helped me out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's definitely a wild time, especially like trying to like figure out what county line to go across to get to some of those parties. And
Oh, yeah.
that was definitely a wild time. Through all of this, it seems like you've had just a really great mindset of how to handle this, something that other people would struggle through. I mean, you basically had a boss tell you, like, you're too good, I'm going to fire you. Like, most people could freak out in that situation, but you seem to thrive in those uncomfortable situations. Has there ever been a time where, you're part of the reason for you even being here was that Nashville was a little cheaper at the time and things like that. As Nashville's grown and gotten more expensive, has there been things you've gone through in your life here that you had to like really work to stay here, like fight to stay here in Nashville? Earlier you said that with what the city has given to you, was there ever a part that was like you were considering having to leave or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I want to continue to level up. So there's times where I've personally thought, like, what else can I do here? I think that was ego driven by others listening to like, oh, you're the mayor in Nashville, you've done this, you've done that. Success isn't based on what you've done, it's what you continue to do. And I've realized that the slower my life is, the more successful I am. Where I continue to put my eggs in each basket, Like I got to make sure that I'm warming them. I got to water, the green grass, even though it's already green. And that was a huge transition. But I would say financially, you always have ups and downs. One thing I wanted to make sure that I always paid people on time. That was what, we're finding invoices, trying to get paid. But I was like, you know what? I can't spend any of my money from our company until we have a blanket to pay every single person. So I live beyond normal means. People would think like I am blessed. I have a house over my head. I have a car. I had the nice flashy car we talked about. And I was so exhausted, so tired. I remember calling my friend. I was like, I just have to make it to 4 p.m. today and I'll be able to sleep. I was sleep deprived and I just wrecked my car into a wall. I could have went right or straight. Either one was the right direction. I just couldn't make a decision and I just ran it into a wall. And no one but like 5 people even knew. And it was my dream Mercedes. It was a fast, low car. It was great. And then I went to dinner with someone and he was like, I have someone you need to meet. This guy, I've always asked business questions and how to navigate. What do I do with the money I have? How do I make it grow? I don't have a ton, so I have to be smart with the little bit I do have. And he introduced me to a guy who owned a car dealership. He got me a GMC Acadia 2014, and it is now my new dream car. It is comfortable, third row seating. I can take anyone anywhere. I can lug all my DJ equipment when I need to. I can go to the beach because it never fails me. The car is paid off because my accountant wanted to make sure that I didn't pay interest. And now I paid her. And it's just such a beautiful story because all of these people have always believed in me more than I think I believed in myself. So that's why I kind of have a lot more grace upon situations because I feel like God just keeps providing and he's like, yeah, it might be tough, but like you're not down and out.
Yeah.
And you watch other people's stories, right? Like now we have the day of the internet and you're hearing all these success stories out of nothing. And I'm like, y'all had it way worse than me. Like that's crazy that was what you were going through. I would have never known. So treat people like you don't know what they're going through, give them grace and try to understand if they do feel like they're going to tell you. But yeah, I can't sit here and have the victim mentality because I really do get to wake up and, I'm just had my appendix out, had a shoulder surgery in last June. I'll have double knee scopes and take some of my meniscus out September 2nd. I will have a potential neck surgery and all this is 10 years plus from not playing football. And it's all catching up to me now. But in this time, I feel like I'm in 8th grade again. This sounds crazy, but I just call my friends, same best friends that I've had. We have great relationships. I get to do artwork. I get to make music when I want to. I've streamlined every process now that I don't work as many hours and I enjoy working because my clients, we picked apart who we want to work with. Is it worth it? Every single one of them. I could quit my job and go work for them because I trust them. I believe in what they're doing. I mean, from Whataburger to Jockey and in between, we have so many cool clients, but it's not even necessarily the names that like I get to throw around and it sounds cool on a resume. It's the people who are running it. Like I could be like, man, David, he works for Whataburger, Courtney, both of them, they're in high positions and I miss them. Like I literally, truly have found that their value of people is above any name that could be on a brand. And so I'm getting that and navigating mine. I know I have other people praying for me. I have other people I could call if I needed financial help. I know that people believe in me and I feel like I've been seen so much that it's like, how do you have depression at moments, like it's not given by any means, but I have a good foundation. But yeah, life is hard, but it's not like it's easy for you. It's not easy for you.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's hard not to smile around you listening to you talk. Even if you're talking about like hard times and wrecking a car and your injuries, I mean, it is very infectious. My question that I have to ask now is from your coach when you were younger. coach in college, your boss at Verizon that kind of like all like saw something more in you, and like you're talking about like your clients and stuff that help you stay motivated because you can feel that people see something more in you. With all that you've accomplished and the names, the resume you've been building with all of this, like, do you believe in yourself yet?
I do. I truly do. I did not sell anything that I cannot do. I had to confidently work on that. We want to help everyone, but I know that some people can do it better than me. Not all. But I will gladly pass them up if it's the right opportunity, and I'll share who I think is the best. I mean, I'm sitting here like the Karate Kid, right? Like you gotta learn how to take your aggression the right way. You have to wax on, wax off, go through the motions that you think are so stupid, and then next thing you know, you're utilizing it. Yeah, I think that reading changed my life. I started reading a lot of books in 2016. I graduated college without reading a book. I didn't read it in high school, middle school. I never finished a book. And I went back and read every single book that was like assigned to us. And now one of those books is my favorite book. I buy it every month for someone else.
What book is that?
Yeah, well, it started with The Traveler's Gift. And so
Okay.
then the same, it's Andy Andrews. And then he has The Noticer. And those are the two books that I recommend for people. It really just depends what they're going through in life. Some is about perspective, and then the other one's about, it's a book on perspective, but it has true, valuable information using a guy who's a character. You don't really know. He doesn't ever change. And in that, your parents knew him, you know him, your kids might know him, and he always looks the same, and he comes and gives you wise advice when you need it. So yeah, The Noticer is such a good book, and I have to read it every single January just to like go back through and make sure. I mean, even with relationships and cheating, is like, how do you get to this point? And you look at like getting married and then spending time at a bar and getting away from your relationship to go to this bar, and you have a couple times and you meet a girl who's there and you all share the love for horses, and then next thing you know, you're horse riding, and then you're spending more time, and then you start comparison. There's a lot of stuff that happens, but that's just like one of the references. But it did also treat.
There's a reference in the book.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it also like is a reference in real life, right? Like,
Yeah.
I haven't cheated in a relationship in a very long time, but I also haven't put myself in a situation because now I know my why of why I'm there, what I'm doing, what's the repercussions, and how did I get here, right? So many people don't know how they got here. It just happened. It didn't just happen.
Right.
Like, I mean, I unfollowed every single girl that I didn't know who was attractive because I was like, this isn't a lust factor for me. I don't want to be fantasizing about something that's never going to happen. Porn, haven't watched it in a very long time. It's fantasy, it's quick, it's immediate. Like, I mean, I think I got through college without watching porn, and then I was like, I want to learn more information about sex and how to do it right and all that stuff. And then it definitely changed.
And that ain't the place to learn.
Yeah, it definitely changed, like, quick interactions, what it looks like, the way I spoke to relationships. And I mean, I'm a pretty boring guy when it comes to relationships. I just want to sit down and talk. And if I can't be on a couch hanging out watching, I don't watch a lot of TV, but like, they could be choosing what they choose to watch.
Yeah.
And, we might not have to say a lot of things, but it's definitely comfortable,
Just,
Yeah.
I gave you a lot more.
We needed this more than you did.
yeah,
Right.
you're preaching to me right now.
Man,
I feel like
The world's watching our therapy session right now.
I've spent many hours in therapy. I've spent a lot of hours talking to my mom and dad. A lot of it's just being honest. And, you'd be surprised when you're honest, the advice that people love will actually give you. And I don't hold back. I truly don't hold back anymore. I'm like, man, this is what I did. And my mom's like, you did that? I'm like, yeah, I did. Unfortunately, I did. But she still loves me the same before I told her and after, right?
That's something that you kind of spoke on earlier that I think we both relate to. But like you talked about your childhood, you talked about how things were, and like when I was a kid, it's very similar. We didn't talk about whether you can make ends meet or not. There was definitely a lot of struggle there to make ends meet and different things. But like I said, now at this point in life, I'm around a lot of people that grew up with money and grew up in a different scenario. And not that one's better than the other, one's worse than the other, but what I definitely do see is that the people that are still in my life, family and friends that grew up from childhood up, they're honest. Like we don't hide anything because we don't look at you any different, whether you made a mistake or not, because we grew up. That's our lives. We make mistakes. We're so human. We had nothing to hide behind.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, like I see them not be able to tell things or confide in their parents or their friends because of how it might look or what they might think. When like I'm so blessed now. Like I was always jealous of that kid at school that had the new shoes or had the new this, and like, but now I'm so grateful that like I could tell my mom the worst thing about me. I could tell my best friend. I could tell my people, and they're like, "Hey, man, like you might have screwed up, but like let's pick it back up." Or like it's not like it changes their perspective. And so like I'm so thankful for how and where I came from because of that right there,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and just having those relationships, that, because you look at like quality time, right? And I hate to say it, but people who don't have a lot of money have a lot of quality time. And that's one of the things that I heard. I was at a magnet school with parent teacher, and it's not like our Knoxville magnet schools. It's definitely like they test in, and basically was a private school. But a lot of it was, they didn't feel seen or spend a lot of time with their parents because they're out there making money. And, my parents were out there making money too. Not a lot of it, but they definitely showed up when we needed them, and every night talked to us, like told us stories of real life. I watched my mom cry, watched my dad cry. I watched good things go, bad things, but they explained what they were going through. And I felt like I got to watch them grow and mature as well.
Yeah. I feel like transparency is key.
Mm-hmm.
One of the common themes I see with you that I'm hearing is it does seem like there's been a constant evolution, changes that you've made.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about you, still going out, but how you party's different because now you're sober.
Mm-hmm.
You even alluded to how you treat women differently with the distractions you've got out of your life, constantly trying to level up and things like that. Is this been a real constant little over time, or was there like a moment where you're like, I need to change my mindset on how I navigate this? And if that's the case, what point did you realize it was your own mindset holding you back?
I would say that it's mostly consistent change, but there has been defining moments in my life. And I would say in November of 2023, when I went sober, that was definitely a mindset shift in all aspects: business relationship with a partner, a relationship with a girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, on and off situation, 5 years of dating, best friend at the time, and then best friend group as well. I truly thought that this is just how everyone lived, and you're around all these people, and I just was like, man, I need a couple minutes. Like I want to be the best version of myself, and I want to see what's going on. And so drinking, drugs definitely were on the back burner because I felt like I wasn't too happy at the time. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it, you're like, all right, I'm not going to do this because I'm not happy, right? And I didn't know how long it would take. I just was like, I need a couple weeks. And then it made it like 100 days. And I was like, oh my God, I'm 100 days sober. I had a show coming up, and I was like, hey, we're going to celebrate at this show. We're going to make sure everyone comes. Like, I mean, it's one of my bigger shows. It was so much fun. It was St. Patrick's Day coming out. And that time I'd already found that one of my old business partners, he was a year plus sober, had no idea. His partner at that time was sober. He's a DJ. He's still sober. All of them are. They're great humans. And now I'm watching them like skyrocket in every aspect of life, not just their job. And then I'm watching what's going around me. I'm like hurting. I'm not loving certain things. But I think if I was drinking at the time, I would have just evolved back to what I was and just shown up because I was like, oh, yeah, it's a fun time and escape. It actually just propelled me to be like, all right, I go to church a lot. I've did a small group for multiple years. And in my small group at the time, it was like, show up how you are. Like I'm trying to just give you a relationship with God. I'm not here to point fingers at you. I want to do what our church says is no one's perfect. Everyone's welcome, right? I needed to be a bigger leader. Not even a better leader, a bigger leader. My presence needed to be known that I'm showing the actions as well. And that was that point. And I never looked back. I tell people, I don't know if I'm going to stay sober. Like it didn't matter about the sobriety. It mattered about the functionality that came with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't want to control everything. I want God to control whatever he can. And I'm going to be stewarding what he gives me. I pray every single day and I read affirmation to him, but I'm going to pray like it's up to God. And I'm going to work like it's up to me every single day. I like read it and I believe it. I want him to use me, fill me, open up my eyes, open up my heart, open up my mind. Lord, I am yours. I will be with you today. I will lead with you by my side. I am more than I was yesterday. I truly say it. I believe it, but I have to live it, right? And consistency was the one thing I was lacking. And I wanted to be more consistent. And now I think people are finally believing that it is me. You know, we look at like, I watched this recently, but like we look at like habits and tendencies and you have all of them and you're not really aware that you have them. But once you're aware of it, now it becomes a choice to do it. And I was like, I need to make better choices. I need to be more consistent and not the right now, but over time. And it's paid off. It truly has. I never would have expected me to be exactly where I'm here with the people around me, getting to sit here even on a podcast. I don't care if anyone else listens, but like the fact that like Blake reached out and thought of Cisco in a time where I'm not even on social media meant more than you can even imagine. And so, yeah, I mean, right now I feel like I'm still in my defining moment. I feel like I'm still being more consistent than ever. And I wake up with purpose every single day.
Well, I think he hit the nail on the head. I feel like maybe I needed this more than you did.
That's how I feel.
I mean, this has been, we've been out to clubs and partied together. And if you would have said we were on a podcast and it wasn't like just making jokes and fucking around the whole time, I would have been probably surprised. And this is probably been one of the more powerful ones. So if no one listens to this, thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, thank you.
This is usually at the time of the show where I would ask someone what's next. It seems like every common theme with your life has been moving to something that's been uncomfortable. I mean, at one point you had
surgeries.
the surgeries, the health driven stuff like that. For the first time, I think a guest had me kind of speechless in how much you just, put out there. But we didn't really talk about FOMO. And I'm sure with the question, what's next, has a lot to do with that.
It is.
So in telling us about what's coming up next for you, FOMO Entertainment, what's it really mean? And what, who's behind it and what's next for y'all?
Yeah, so FOMO Entertainment, full service marketing and entertainment company that covers events, entertainments and bookings, and then marketing. When people hear marketing right now, everyone just thinks of social media. And with all due respect to everyone who runs social media, it is such a beautiful way for them to make money, as a way to advertise. But there's so many things that you learn in school when you go for marketing that people are just not missing. And so I get to go back to creating systems, leveraging contacts, and utilizing their platforms that they already have. Emails, text. You sit there and you go through and you're like, oh, what's our reviews like? Now we have AI that companies can analyze anything and everything through softwares. And so I've just pushed more into learning those softwares and developing them for more of my clients, as well as our team. We're looking at a lot of different web developments, but it is a digital marketing world. Nothing will be better than word of mouth. So right now we do a lot of word of mouth marketing for our clients, but also that's how we get clients. We don't sell tickets as much as we used to. We don't use our socials really barely at all right now. We will revamp every single thing. We're going to showcase our clients who we work with, what we're going to do or have done for them. We're going to showcase every single thing that has blessed us enough to pay our bills and keep moving with smiles on our faces, right? It's been a really fun thing, but we go back to socials and we're selling more media coverage than anything for events. We can produce from one event, coming off music festivals and watching how we have one weekend sometimes for the whole year to get content to drive a music festival for next year, right? Now, how does that look, right? It looks at timestamps. Everyone knows where they need to be, hire more people, make sure you have photography, videography, make sure everyone knows their role. It's a team. Make sure all artists are covered. Now you transition that same mindset to an event. Sponsors, right? Do we have coverage for the sponsors? Shot list, easy, done. Sometimes we do time lapses of how events started to how it ends. Thank yous, follow-ups, making sure that everyone who was a part of it knows we're thankful that they were a part of it. Then we have a system where we send every single one of the pictures to our client, raw, unedited, so they get every single thing that was from their event. But then we also have a system where we go in and edit all the pictures, and then we send that out. So then if people are taking pictures and they're in pictures, now they can expand and tag us and tag the clients. And so now that they're marketing for us, and people want to know more about the event, and they can tell them themselves, oh, this is really cool, FOMO, and blah, 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 put this on. We did this. Now, next thing you know, they have a wedding. Who do they call? They need an entertainment. We have all the templates we've created. If someone asks me one question, I might do it. If someone asks me another question and it pertains to the last one, I'll do it and tailor everything and make a system. Now I have a template, and now I copy and paste, and instead of writing emails, it's all done. Like we've already answered all these questions so many times. So that's a huge thing, is communication with marketing, and everything we do is based off numbers, analytics, and how many times we contact people, but also how many times can they share this information with others. And that's how we are a successful word of mouth marketing like no one else is doing. We're from Nashville to national at this point, and we move around the country. We have multiple people filming at this moment right now in 3 states.
Wow. So y'all got anything, events coming up, anything like that? Word of mouth? Talk about it?
Yeah. We, right now we just focus on what our clients are doing.
Yeah.
And earlier you touched on that there's so many things going on in the city, it makes it harder for people to attend. Honestly, there's so many options that you're right, that events are down more right now than ever. We came out of COVID, everyone's hot and heavy. Everyone wanted to do something. People are just tired. It's fair. Social economic is down. We're in the 2 slowest of the 3 months in the summer. For hospitality, if you look at restaurants and hotels. Nashville is not slowing down on hotels, but it is a divot, right? And it's crazy because we're the most visited city in America right now. and it's insane because it's built off of our bar scene. But now it's moved into the locals drive everything, right? So someone comes and visits. If they have no connection to Nashville, they're going online. If they have connections on Nashville, I can show you my phone. I'll gladly. Private chef, someone wants one. Guess what? We have a couple. We're sending them recommendations. It's up to them to close it, right? But it goes for every single thing. People want restaurant recommendations. I'll give them a personal list. That list will have not only restaurants for date nights, it'll have restaurants for group parties.
Concierge.
Well,
Get your date.
yeah, but I'm not doing it anymore
Yeah.
for them. I'm just giving them the resources and letting them pick and tailor. I mean, the city has so much. We have great partners, but we also have partners who aren't ours that we get to enjoy as locals. And as a local, if you enjoy something, you're going to tell someone about it. So do a good job, show up when you're supposed to, and leave them wanting more. FOMO, fear of missing out. I mean, it could be a simple meal, right? And you might be triggered because you're like, oh, I grew up with that. I just went to a grocery store with a South African girl, and we were just walking around the grocery store because I couldn't do much, right? And so she picked me up, and I was just thankful. My best friend at this moment, she was like, let's just go pick up food. I'm making a dinner. She told me about her heritage and all that. We went to a world market. It was so cool because the nostalgia there for her. And she missed her home. And so when we say FOMO, it does cover culture, it covers art, it covers happiness, it covers entertainment, it covers anything and everything. But it's really cool to see what can trigger.
Yeah. Well, I can already tell you, and I can tell by the look on his face, we've known each other so long, we're definitely going to be talking to you off air about some things we got coming up. For sure. Man, that was a powerful episode, dude.
Yeah.
It was moving.
Thank you.
Yeah, needed that. And I'm sure we're not the only ones. So if this moved you, if this helped you, make sure you go ahead, hit that follow, hit that subscribe, tell someone, word of mouth, from Nashville to national, international, and beyond. Thank you for listening. And for the love of Nashville, tune into the next one.